Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David and this is a magic review. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you're here. My name is David, and this is my little space where I do magic reviews. I also do playing card reviews, deck reviews, and I usually take all that stuff and then give it away once a month. That's right, I do giveaways. I do giveaways of magic tricks and playing cards once a month, either here on my YouTube channel or over on my Instagram channel. So make sure you're following both just so that you don't miss out when I do those giveaways. Big, huge magic giveaway coming up this Christmas. So make sure you got all your likes and subscription buttons and bells and whistles and everything else punched. Yeah. Today we're gonna look at Stasis from Jambor and the other brothers. And we're gonna review Stasis because it was recommended in the comment section from Fred Reinerson and Harel Arviv Magic. So thank you guys for that recommendation. All right, so what is Stasis? Stasis is a balancing act. It's an in the hands balancing act. Now you might remember Balance from Joshua J, Vanishing Ink, did a review for that. Balance is a stage act. It's a stage act where there's some distance between you and the audience. Stasis is a close-up act or a street magic act, and we'll talk a lot about that. But at the core of this effect, you're able to borrow your spectator's driver's license. You're able to borrow a bill out of your spectator's wallet. And those are two of the 4 items that you will use in your balancing act. The other 2 objects are provided by yourself. One will be a tuck case, and one will be a card that your spectator selects from the deck. All right, so a couple questions we always ask about all of our magic reviews, and the first of which is, what is in the box? What's in the box? It's a beautiful box, beautiful packaging, wonderful box. Inside, you're gonna get everything you need. You'll get 2 gimmicks, 2 completely different gimmicks, but the same. You'll get some special material, and you'll get the download code. Download code will take you out to the internet and give you access to 4 different videos. Now, I'm gonna talk about the videos right now because of just how they're broken down. And usually I say how long the videos are, but since there's 4 and they cover different things, I wanna just break it down. That was terrible. For you, I should never do that again. For you, and go over what you're getting. The first video is an unboxing video. It's about 7 minutes long, and right away they start teaching you the balance from your own hand, from the magician's hand. The second video is the routine, full routine. It's 21 minutes. They're gonna teach you a card force. Then they're gonna talk about how to begin the balance in their hands. And I like the balance in their hands because it keeps them from moving. It keeps them from shifting. And like I said, 2 of the objects are borrowed and 2 of the objects are the ones that you provide. And in this video, in this version, the spectator is holding the base. They are holding the bottom-most card, and it is their own ID card. The third video is a home build. It's 7 minutes long, and they just roughly take you through how you would build this from scratch. And then the last video is a bonus video. It's 21 minutes long. They're gonna teach you how to do a water bottle balance with an ungimmicked water bottle with water inside of it, a wallet balance, and a table balance, and a few other ideas. Is it what I thought? Yeah, because I had already reviewed Joshua J's balance, and even though it's not exactly like that, because in Joshua J's balance, every single thing in that is a gimmick. It's completely gimmicked from top to bottom, right? Completely gimmicked. In this, there's only one gimmick and you can barely see it. And two of the items are borrowed. So in that respect, it's different. In the respect that it's the same, if you own balance, okay, if you own balance, you know that your audience needs to be a certain distance away because they might see the method. And I would say you have a little of that with this. All right, so how are the angles? This is where I want to focus a lot of my time because this, I think, would be your main concern, okay? And there's two angles to think about here. So the first angle would be the seated position. So this is, let's say you're at a restaurant and you have a couple, man and a woman, and they're seated across from you, and you are on the other side of the table. Your spectator is holding on to their driver's license, their ID card, and you begin the balance. This is a great angle because they are directly across from you. There's no one on your sides, there's no one on your back, and your spectator's not going to move around. You have got their elbow on the table, and they know that they're the base of this. And they know that part of this is relying upon them not moving. You can stress that, hey, don't move. And then they can watch it, and their wonderment will be so, excited, but they can't, what can they do? They can't pull out their phone, they can't turn, they can't shift to look at this from a different angle because they're supporting the entire structure. And if they did start to move, then I think it wouldn't be weird if the whole thing collapsed. And you can make that happen. If you're worried about them catching the angle or seeing it from a different angle, at any moment you could make the entire thing fall and say, it fell down, and they would know it was their fault because they moved, right? The second angle would be if you are holding the base and you have a street magic situation where people are watching you. Well, I think in that situation, you're gonna make your little stage area and the people are gonna be at a distance. They could be at a distance on the sides or the front, probably even the back. And at the right distance, again, it would be virtually impossible for people to see what you were doing. As long as they're giving you some distance, as long as you are controlling the environment. If they're right up on you, then no, it's not gonna work. But if you're doing this as street magic performance, where you have that kind of breath distance between people and you on the sides and back, I think it would be very hard for them to see the tiny thing that's supporting the entire structure. No, I would not do this for somebody one-on-one at the playground, standing up. Because I think at that point, they're just gonna turn and try to look at it from a different angle, and it's over, okay? So don't think of it like that. It's like I said, you want them either seated across from you with maybe a table in the way so that they can't turn and they can't go anywhere else, or you want it in an outside environment where there is some distance between you and the audience. And I think even in the street magic situation, it wouldn't be hard to hand all the props to a spectator and to have them intermittently come and, okay, now bring me the dollar, and then you do it. And now bring me the tuck case, and you do it. I mean, I can totally see that happening so that you're not jumbling all the items. But they get it too, that they're part of the audience, but they're just helping you, right? So I think it's totally doable, totally possible, but you need to manage your angles. As far as it being inspectable, like I said, two of the objects they provide, and of those, I would also hand them the tuck case. So I would give them everything as the balance was happening, and then have them hand the items to me one at a time if I were holding the base. And that would ensure that they inspected everything. What's the overall quality and production value of the video? I showed a little bit of the footage to you earlier. It's filmed like all other brothers videos. It's a little edgy, it's a little rough. They're not as concerned about beautiful transitions or making sure everyone's mic'd or HD quality. They're just giving you the basics. They're just giving you what you need without trying to blow you away and overwhelm you with their beautiful camera shots. Is it well made? It is very well made, and I was glad it came made out of the box. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know I hate arts and crafts. I just do. All right, so how much practice does this require? What's the skill level on this? Let's just say this. You are doing what you are doing, okay? That is not an illusion. The idea that you are balancing objects is true. You are balancing objects. And if you've ever sat there in a restaurant and balanced a pencil on your finger, or balanced your ring off the edge of something, yeah, you're balancing. You are balancing. And so it's gonna take some practice, but you could do this yourself because you can hold the bottom object. You might want to practice when somebody else holds the bottom object, just so that you can keep stressing, like, hold your arms straight, don't shake, focus. You concentrate too. If you concentrate and I concentrate, then we can work together as a team. So I don't think there's any difficult sleights. There's nothing like that. There's nothing that you have to memorize, certainly. But you are doing what you're doing. Now, because you are doing what you are doing, that means physics is involved. All right? That's just science, not magic, right? Physics isn't magic. There are physics involved, which means, one, you can't stack this any higher than what you see in the trailer. Like, pretty much the objects you see, that's probably what you should use. Shouldn't use anything heavy like car keys, right? So you're gonna wanna stick with kind of what you see in the trailer. Second, because everything is balancing, that means there is obviously going to be a fulcrum. There's always a fulcrum, right? Again, it's not magic, it's science. And if you've ever balanced things on a fulcrum, you know that when the base shifts, there is a tendency for the objects, to swing, right, on that fulcrum. That is not a visual you want your spectator to see. Because once they see the objects swing on the fulcrum, especially if they all of a sudden just right themselves again, you really don't want them to see that, because that would imply that there is a fulcrum somewhere and it's holding everything in place, and it's not magic, it's science. And it's not something they're gonna register in their brain, it's something that their brain is gonna subliminally tell them by what their eyes are seeing. They're gonna recognize the science. My advice is, if the objects start to swing on their fulcrum, you immediately collapse it right away. Because that's what would happen in real life. If the things were balancing in real life and they started to swing, they would just fall. They wouldn't right themselves. And I think that's gonna be the temptation through the whole trick. You are gonna want to hold that magical item, that impossible item out there for a long time. And I would suggest don't hold that in view for a long time. Doesn't matter if they're holding it or you're holding it. I think you should find your sweet spot, and then it's over. How much setup and reset is there? There's pretty much none, because you're setting it up and resetting it in front of the spectator. I'd be more worried about pocket space and just having that, carrying it with you. There's a couple different ways you could do it. I don't want to reveal any of them because I don't want to give away the secret or give away what the object is, but think about pocket space. Obviously, something like balance that's really big, it's a stage act, you can't carry that with you. That's the great thing about Stasis, is it fits on your person. It won't take up any more space than a deck of cards, but just think about that. Positives. All right, so what are the positives? Stasis has that wow and impossibility factor that can only be achieved by a truly impossible visual. This will make your spectators pull out their phones so they can tell their friends. All right, so what are the negatives? Ever since I started this channel, I've always wanted to tell you the good and the bad, the positives and the negatives, and be completely open, forthcoming, and honest with you about everything I review, because all of this stuff gets sent to me for free. It does. It gets sent to me for free, and I have to separate the good from the bad and be honest with you and tell you exactly what you get for your money, because it's not my money, it's your money. And I want you to make wise purchases. I want you to make wise decisions. That's always what I've wanted to do since the very beginning. So thank you all for your suggestions and your comments. Like I said, I read all of those, and it helps me pick the things that you want to see. I think I've really covered the negatives already in the review. I think we talked about the distance that you have to be at. So I think that is clearly something that needs to be considered when you're thinking about purchasing this effect. Where are you gonna perform this? Okay, you have to see yourself in the environment that you're gonna perform this in before you purchase it. Okay, don't just buy it because it's awesome, because it is. It's awesome. It is. But I want you to think about the environment that you're gonna be in and consider that. Second, like I said, there's some science to it. There's a fulcrum to it. And sometimes science can just catch you off guard and go, hey, be aware. And so I think a lot of that's just gonna come with being an experienced magician, right? Just being an experienced magician and not being casual and lazy and sloppy. If you're just gonna go through this casual, lazy, and sloppy, then it's gonna be exposed, it's gonna fall, and no one's gonna take you seriously. And I don't wanna be that magician. I wouldn't put that on camera, and I wouldn't do that in real life. So yeah, just be aware of your angles, just be aware of the fact that there's some science involved, and I think you'll be fine. Is it worth your money? It's $55, $55. And I think when you get it in the mail and you see the box, you're thinking, woo, this is totally worth my money. And when you open it, you're like, oh, that's it. Okay. Like, it seems a little small, it seems a little underwhelming for $55. Even when you see the gimmicks, and you do get two, that's great. And they do teach you how to build more, that's awesome. But I think you're paying more for the wow factor. I think you're paying more for the fact that you get to own it than you are for the materials. So maybe just expect that you're not gonna be blown away when you open the box. Who would like this? I think I've covered that also. We're talking about people that do restaurant magic, because I think it gives you the table and it gives you the right lighting that you're gonna want. People who do street magic, who can control their situations and their surroundings. Hey, that's everything I can say about Stasis by Jambor and the other brothers. Of course, I wanna thank Murphy's Magic Supplies for allowing me to have this so that I could do the review for you. And if you'd like to purchase it for yourself, you can find it wherever quality Murphy's Magic products are sold. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time, bye.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you guys there. Sorry, I'm just catching up on some reading. This is a little bit after we filmed Stasis down in Iowa at Corndabra, so I wanted to mention a few other things. First off, I wanted to credit some people for their amazing balancing effects. I want to thank Patrick Snowden's Tensegrity, Joshua J's balance, and Gaetan Bloom's amazing standing card. There's some great balancing effects that you guys should definitely